my latest videos, they make me laugh. They are sorting the problem. Oh, that guy was lovely. Reminded me of my grandfather. Yeah. I think I made a mistake. I think my grandfather was, I don't know, my sister will let me know. Was he? I think it was great grandfather, actually. I think that was a bit of a slip. My great grandfather was possibly in the army. Vaguely recall my grandma. But you never know with my grandma. You never know what's true and what's not, because she remembers. She once said, Granny, what happened to the bird? It flew away, or it died and then it flew away. Oh no, Joe left it alone and it died of a broken heart. My sister will like that one. Inside joke. But yeah, the thingy, the videos, what triggered this time is that unfortunately I've been left in a custody cell before, going crazy. The longest I was there for was overnight. And they just leave people kind of stressed out, and I just felt I related to the dog being left there. It's in the heat, doesn't want to be in there. It's probably thirsty. Whether they say air conditioned, if it was so air conditioned, why is the boot even open? Why not just leave the boot shut? If it's I swear the engine needs to be on to be air conditioned. Otherwise it fucks the car up, and the engine wasn't on, as far as I remember. So the other thing is that they broke the door. I didn't catch them breaking the door down. I heard it from inside my house, and it was kind of scary. Like I wasn't sure. Like, I could feel like all these houses vibrating. So I wasn't sure whether to what was I gonna say? I wasn't sure whether to come out at that point, whether it would have made a good video, because they have a tool in their hand and they're bashing a door down, and like I don't know what they're gonna do in that moment if I'm filming them do that. I don't know. I got my limits with what I got a film, but it's really the thing is the house has been repossessed, right? So they've been breaking him from the back. Well, why can't they just take the guy out the window? Because the windows were wide open. Like, why do they have to break someone's door? Police seem to me like they look for any opportunity. They just love smashing doors down. They really, really just seem to love smashing doors down. They could have just gone in the window, climbed in the window, and one person could live from the inside, one could see the outside. Where it's like, because these doors are expensive and they're hard to replace. And the reason why this is a bit of a touchy subject for me is because I was experienced this myself, not because I'd committed a crime, but I was threatening suicide. I was talking about killing myself. Then I calmed down, went for a walk, bought some ice cream, bought some fish and chips. So obviously I wasn't completely serious, but I was just trying to get my mum to let me back home because I didn't want to be living where I was living. So I told her that. I was self-harming. I was cutting my legs, cut my arms. My mental health was horrible. So I did need some sort of support that I wasn't getting. So I let her know, and I didn't want her to call the police. And she called the police. As I said, I was out, I'd gone for fish and chips. I was like, I feel better now. Come back, and my door's been smashed. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, we had to smash your door, mate. I'm like, what the hell? So they then came in, found a diary that I'd left that said, I'm sorry, I had to do this or something. So maybe there was part of me that was serious, but I just needed to think about it, because I did leave a diary I did leave a note there. But I think part of it, could have been hunger. It could have been, that's how easily, the mood can be affected by things if you're already on the edge and then you're not eating properly as well. It can push you over the edge. So, when I got the fish chips and ice cream, I was like, oh, actually, I've calmed down. I don't want to kill myself now. They got in and they'd smashed the door and they said, well, can you just go now? And they said, oh no, we have to take you to a mental health. We have to take you into hospital because we've broken the door and you've left a note there. And at that stage, it was like, okay, well, I want to go because I don't want to be left there vulnerable with the door open. So they said, oh, we'll sort the door out. We'll sort the door out. And then they didn't sort the door out. They secured it temporarily, but I was living there for a while and it was broken. And I spoke to the landlord. They said, look, the police, which is so ridiculous, all they had to do said, call us, if it's an emergency, we've got a key. They have a key for all of the places anyway. If it's like an emergency, just give us a call, give you the key. But they say, they have to act instantly with that, in case someone is actually going to kill themselves. Maybe so, but I don't know. The thing is, if someone is really going to kill themselves, like when I did try to kill myself, you don't even tell. I didn't tell anyone. When they asked me, I'm thinking about it. I said no, I didn't tell anyone. My sister heard what I was doing on the phone because I was cutting my arms. This whole thing about someone says it. I think they rarely, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think people rarely say they're going to do it. They just do it because if they're really serious about doing it, they don't want someone to stop them. But maybe that's what the police have to do. They can't take the time to get the key. But literally, we're taking so quick. I don't know where they would have got the key. Who would have given them the key? They didn't possibly have a landlord. I don't know if they had a landlord's. No, they wouldn't have had a landlord's number. But I think they're possibly trying to call me, but they didn't have the longer. Maybe I'm trying to find a way to blame the police. Probably am. But it just would have been nice if they called the house. The estate agent. Somehow I swear they had a number of something, because I remember the estate agent saying that they could have called, because I think my mum told them, who owns it or something, like the owner or something. Like I think possibly she may have had the number, or maybe she didn't. Yeah, okay, so maybe they did have to do that. I just think it could have, it could have waited. But this is the risk. If they get a message from that, they take it seriously. I guess this was my mum's technique to make sure I stopped doing it, but I don't think she actually believed I was going to do that. I'm not even sure she even would have cared, really. I'm not even sure she would have cared. Maybe she would have done. I don't know. There's a way of making sure that I never say anything like that, I guess. So the time when I actually was desperate and did need some support, I told her I didn't get it. It just pushed me further over the edge, and then I did kill myself. But so part of this is misplaced anger. Like, it is my mum that I'm more angry with. Yes, displaced anger onto the police. But in this case, the windows were bloody open. Because now the person who owns the house, I suppose, I don't know, the bank owns the house. Oh, fuck them then. The bank owns the house. I would assume it's been repossessed. They've just repossessed and they've just left it there. Probably no one can afford to buy it around here. I don't know, maybe that's a bit judgmental, but why is it? Like, normally you get a really good deal on a repossessed home. I think, they go to auction or whatever, but just hasn't been dealt with left. I suppose they had to just do something. It's been happening every day. That guy was saying. It's just fucking crazy. It's just fucking crazy, man. It's fucking insane. Oh dear. But the dog barking was what started the whole thing. The dog barking, being trapped. I also felt bad for the guy who was being taken out of the house, because okay, I know he's robbed, some broken into somewhere, but I just said I've said this in previous videos, but I still recall my mum, I think asking my grandma to do it, like grabbing my arms, grabbing my legs, and getting me in the car. This was when they couldn't get me to school, but it was actually, it happened more than that. It happened for something completely pointless I didn't even need, and it was bar mitzvah lessons. They grabbed my arms and legs to get me in the car for to learn the bar mitzvah. To learn the bar mitzvah stuff. I didn't even want a bar mitzvah. I didn't even want it. And it was a horrible day. It was a horrible day because my mum had a huge argument with my sister and they wouldn't stop no matter how much I was telling them to stop. I think my mum had... Oh yeah, my sister had... see how these things are linked. My sister had accidentally, like, my mum doesn't really wear, wasn't really wearing fragrances. My mum just doesn't wear fragrances, you know. She's not interested in smelling nice, smelling pleasant, which aligns with her personality in general. So my sister said, oh, I convinced her to try some perfume. I think this is a story. She'll correct me if it's not. This is what happened. So sister wanted to say, I'll try some perfume. I think my mum agreed. And my sister got a tiny little bit of perfume, which left a bit of a mark on our mum's dress. And my mum absolutely freaked. I mean, when she freaked, she was screaming her head off. How dare you! How dare you! What have you done to my dress? Seriously? That's not even an exaggeration. In fact, it's probably an under-exaggeration. Under-exaggeration? Whatever the word, the opposite. It's probably an understatement. So that was going on, and I was like crying. I was like, please, this is my big day. I'm meant to be becoming a man, and you're all screaming like a bunch of motherfuckers. No, I didn't, I don't know what word to use there. Crazy bitches. Crazy ass bitch. Yeah. So, yeah. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre are at the door. Oh dear. So yeah, there's many memories that are linked. Let's have some water. I wonder what I'll call this video. Trauma Part 3. This is the roots. This is what we're unpacking now. We're unpacking everything that happens. You know, I used to try just meditate to block it, but when trauma is so much that you can't just rely on that to magically make it go away, the same memories come up. It just takes a trigger. And one of the triggers is police. Yeah. What is police? You know, I mean, it's displaced anger. Because the police are, generally speaking, just doing their job. You know, when I needed them, when I desperately needed them, they weren't there. You know, when my dad attacked me, they were nowhere to be seen. When my dad was attacking my sister, you know, they were nowhere to be seen. They were nowhere to be seen. If they found out, would we have gone in care? Possibly, if there was evidence of it. Would that have been any better? Possibly, possibly not. Yeah. He's a sweet old man now. You know. In some ways that's made it even more confusing. You know. It's almost feels like that little boy brought the worst out of him. So sometimes I thought that people would be better off without me. And I felt I'd be better off without them. I remember this mental health worker once I heard when I was trying to escape home because I was going so crazy there. I remember once can't remember now what happened. Oh yeah, I had this worker, Clive Cohen. Hello, it's Clive Cohen here. Hello. We just need to assess the situation. Do you hate your parents? Are you a very moody person? I think it runs a little bit deeper than that, Clive. Are you a very moody person? Yes. Yes, I am. Especially when I'm asked stupid questions like that. Do you hate your parents? Inevitably, yes. Was it inevitable that I'd end up hating them? Do I still hate them? I hate their behaviour. I hate the things they've done. But I'm starting to understand it. Kind of. Starting to. There was also a time where when I'd come home, eventually, 2015, and my I can't remember what the argument was about. I don't even know what it was about, but basically, one sister who one sister who I've really never got on with for many years now, oldest sister. I think I said to her, "I'll watch your back, bitch," or something like that. So I kind of threatened her because I was just so bloody resentful, angry, bitter, resentful over what I was going through and like the treatment she had. You know, I was in this fucking shithole where I didn't want to be. I was there because my mental health had been pushed downhill to such an state that I could barely even rationalize, barely even function. And she was nearby. She was in Enfield. So it was really kind of triggering. And then they moved me to an even worse dump. And then, then I came back, and somehow I ended up in an argument with my other sister as well, where I tried to get in the room. And it's like, if you don't open the door, I'm going to fucking kill you. But she knew I wasn't going to kill her. She knew 100% I wasn't going to kill her. Especially my other sister, CL. I did everything I can to protect her when I was a child from my dad, who was always trying to attack her. So million years would I kill her. And even my oldest sister, I never would have really got to that point where I would have done that. I wouldn't have even planned it. At times when I've been extremely angry, I've fantasized about it because I've been that angry, but only as a way of coping with how angry I've been about some of the things that she's said, some of the things she's done, and just in generally how she's been treated so much better than our mother, than us two have, and she's got preferential treatment. She'll say the same thing that my dad has given me, preferential treatment, and he has, but mostly out of guilt. And my mum still claims to feel guilty because she screamed at my oldest sister for being sick in the sink, which is bizarre to feel guilty about that, but not feel guilty about the absolutely horrendous things that she has done to me and our other sister, as well as she also screamed at me when I was sick in the sink. And I don't recall her ever saying she felt guilty about that. I don't say she doesn't think she's done anything wrong. Until recently, she did say, I've had 2 children, both had problems, and so I questioned, is it me? Yeah, it fucking is. It fucking is you. It's always been you. That's the problem. It's always been about you. So yeah, I don't feel guilty about any of the shit she's done. She still feels guilty about that. So anyway, what happened with this murder threat, even though it was clearly just said in jest to anyone with a brain cell, which they both have, but they've always wanted to use me against me. You know, they say something like that to the police and it's alarming. They don't know the whole story. They don't know that he's just acting out trauma. He's not really going to kill anyone. You know, if you want to get in the room and you say, let me in, I'm going to fuck you. If she had that on film and showed it to police, it'd be like, yeah, he just wants to get in the room. He's not actually going to. Did he have a knife in his hand? No. She's had knives in her hand many times. And funny enough, when people heard about it, when the police found out, they heard someone, when I heard me say, fucking put the knife down, the police arrested me. And I said, what? Why have you arrested me when she's the one holding a knife? Oh, because she did it out of fear. You have to understand your size. I'm fucking scrawny as fuck. What are you talking about? You have to, I look at him and I'm like, and he looks at me and I'm realizing his size because he was like this huge bodybuilder guy, this detective, fucking built like a motherfucker. And he was like, look, I know if I'm walking on the street, I've got to be conscious that I may scare, an old lady, may be afraid of me. Like, do me a favor. How can you compare this scenario with my mum has a knife in her fucking hand, okay? Right? And she's coming near me with a fucking knife. And you're comparing that to if you're walking on the street as a bodybuilder, as a huge bodybuilder to an old lady may be fearful of you. Well, she won't be. She won't be unless you're like doing something that would put her in a position that was afraid. She won't be. And she certainly won't pull a fucking knife on you for having muscles. So yeah, I was arrested, because your mum was so scared. Blah, 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 we have to arrest you. And I was like, grab my dad's leg. I was like, no, please. And I was like, I haven't done anything. She had a knife against me, and the neighbor overheard. This is how fucked up the situation got. She's come into my room in the morning with a knife in her hand. She's come into my room in the morning with a knife in her hand. Now, obviously, I'm not saying I'm totally innocent in this. I'm not saying that I wasn't screaming or I didn't break things or blah, blah, blah. But I didn't take a knife to her. Okay? I didn't take a knife. There's been violence, yes. There's been violence. When I've been absolutely pushed beyond my limits. She literally fucks with your head. If you research what narcissists can do, they drive you insane to the point that you have no fucking control. And then they can say, see, now you're the bad guy. Now you're the bad guy. So this was on record. I got a caution for a murder threat. That's what it's down as, a murder threat. And when I went to court to try and get contact from one of my kids, what was used against me, they dragged up my whole police record and all the shit that my mum had said about me years ago. I've got them reading now. I've got the fucking jury, the fucking judge or whatever, seeing, threaten to kill his mother and sister. Trying to get in a room and saying, I'm going to kill you, a brother to sister. My sister knew it was in jest. And the older sister pretended that, really made out a really scared, just like she did the same thing again this time. She did the same thing again when I was messaging them. They knew I live 160,000 miles away. I live in Stoke-on-Trent. My parents lived in London at the time, and my sister lives in Essex. And now they both live in Essex, and I live in Stoke-on-Trent. So how far is Stoke-on-Trent from Essex? And they'd already cut the money they were giving me anyway. So how am I gonna, I had no spare cash. I've only got fucking benefits, and it's not even enough. How am I gonna get there? Suppose they could argue that, if I was gonna kill someone, I would just get an Uber there, but it wouldn't even have the money for that. There was no spare money, firstly. And hugely, mainly, I wasn't gonna fucking kill someone. Even if it wasn't for the fact that I know it's wrong, I have too much to lose. Well, you think I'm gonna never see my kids again? I've got like twin boys and an older girl, and they're just like the most amazing. Just the most amazing human beings I've ever met. can't let her do to them what she's done to me.